Hello, and welcome to Kickstart Your Semester. What's next for starting at Iowa? My name is Andy Kutcher, and I'm an Associate Director here in Orientation Services, and I'll be leading us through our webinar today. Today, we'll cover some reminders before students return to campus in August. We'll talk a little bit about Success at Iowa, which is a course that all of our incoming students will take. I'll cover a couple of pieces about move-in, as well as what students can expect during On Iowa. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with reminders. The first two on here relate to students' records. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, which you've likely heard a lot about, says that student records are now their own and they control who has access to that information. Parents and supporters, we know this can be a big change. And so if you need to, we encourage you to sit down with your student and talk about creating a guest account in MyUI. This can allow your student to grant you access to things like billing information, financial aid, and grades. I also want to note that students will need to sign the student record consent form in MyUI so that you can receive that information and get that account created. I also have a reminder in here about transcripts. And if you haven't sent your official transcripts in, please make sure you do that as soon as possible so that we can make sure we get those processed in time. If you have questions, call 319-335-3847 or email admissions@uiowa.edu. And then if your student is just looking for some information about what they should be thinking about or things they should be considering, we do have a great checklist on our website, newstudents.uiowa.edu, with some wonderful resources for them to check out. There's also a new student checklist in their SOAR page they can look at. One of the best things that students can do before they come to campus is to download the Iowa mobile app. This gives them access to things like their class schedule, the academic calendar. They can see the different events that are going to be happening on campus, including all of our On Iowa events, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. And it's going to give them direct access to campus resources. Really great one-stop shop for students to have in their pocket and with them all the time, should they ever need anything. So definitely encourage your students to download the Iowa mobile app if they haven't. Next, we're going to talk about Success at Iowa. CSI 1600 Success at Iowa is a course that all of our new students are enrolled in and take during their first semester at Iowa. The course is going to open on August 10th, which is a little bit before the first day of classes on August 24th. This will give students access to some information before they even step foot back on campus. The course is designed to continue the transition that students had over the summer with our SOAR program, becoming a Hawkeye programs if you participated. And it's really designed to both reinforce some of that information, share that information again, and give students new information at the time in which we know they're going to need it the most. We've broken this course up into five stages of transition, and you can see those on the screen here. I would encourage you to ask your student to log into Icon Iowa Courses Online and start to look at the dates for each of the Success at Iowa stages. If you have any questions or if they need any support, they can always reach out to us and we're happy to help. All right, let's talk a little bit about move-in. Move-in's going to run August 15th through August 17th. And when you pull up near your residence halls, you're going to see a lot of volunteers in yellow shirts. Many of those are on Iowa leaders who will assist you in unloading your vehicle. A lot of them will have carts with them and they'll be able to help you navigate the residence halls to get to your residence hall rooms. As a reminder, we want students to unload their cars as quickly as possible and then move them off site. If you have any questions about move-in logistics or you need any further assistance with University Housing and Dining, please give their main office a phone call at 319-335-3000. You can also check out some of the webinar information from University Housing and Dining that we have on our website. Those have been pre-recorded and are up now waiting for you to review. Okay, let's talk a little about On Iowa. On Iowa is our welcome week of programming. This runs the week before classes start, and it's designed to give students a sense of what campus is like, discover new opportunities, and most importantly, to make some friends and start feeling comfortable here at Iowa. First and foremost, we want students to check in for On Iowa. Check-in's going to start on Sunday, August 16th and run from 11 to 4. And then Monday through Thursday, check-in will run from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Student check-in will happen on the second floor of the Iowa Memorial Union. At check-in, students are going to receive their personalized itinerary, which is going to be really important so they attend the correct required portions of On Iowa, which I'll talk about here in a few minutes. We'll have 200 plus events for students to participate in during On Iowa, and our full schedule will be released shortly on our website, oniowa.uiowa.edu. But I can give you a little sneak peek of some of the things that we'll be doing during On Iowa Week, and you can see those on the screen here. I want to highlight a couple of our events that have gotten really, really popular in the last few years. The silent disco out in front of Hansher and the magician that we'll host in Hansher Auditorium have been very, very popular and students really, really enjoy. We also will host bingo on Wednesday in the Iowa Memorial Union, which will have lots of great prizes for students who win. And then if students are interested in singing and showing off that talent, at the Thursdays at the IMU event, we'll have live band karaoke out on Hubbard Park. So this is just a brief snapshot of all the events that we'll have. We'll have many more on our website once that full schedule is released. Please encourage your students to check those out because we're really excited about all the different opportunities they can engage in. So I mentioned before about the personalized itinerary, and this is where that starts to come into play with our first required program during On Iowa, and that's our Hawkeye Welcome. These will be faculty-led academic behaviors discussions for students to understand how they can be successful in the classroom. And they'll also have some time with an On Iowa leader who can share some of their experiences here at Iowa. Students, when they get their itineraries, will be able to see the time slot for their Hawkeye Welcome as well as the location for that. They'll all happen on Friday, August 21st. Also on Friday, and after Hawkeye Welcomes have wrapped up, we'll head to Kickoff at Kinnick. This is one of our signature events during the week. It's a chance for students to be out on the football field, start to learn about Iowa traditions, like the wave to the Stead Family Children's Hospital, the best tradition in college football. We'll hear from President Wilson as well as a student speaker. We'll have a DJ, fireworks, games, and a lot more. It's going to be a really, really fun night, something that students won't want to miss out on. So definitely encourage them or ask your student if they're planning to attend Kickoff at Kinnick because it's going to be a really cool time. And we'll wrap up on Iowa Week on Saturday, August 22nd with our Block I photo. And immediately following that, the President's Party on the Pentecrest, hosted by President Barbara Wilson, where she'll welcome our newest class to the University of Iowa, and we'll all have some dinner together. Now, on Iowa Week is a lot to pull off, and we don't do it alone. We employ some wonderful students and have student volunteers that work with us. And if you have a student who you think would be a great orientation leader, who would work with our incoming classes as they come to our Becoming a Hawkeye programs in the summer, or want to welcome new students once they're back on campus as a non-Iowa leader, please encourage them to do so. We've linked our QR code here where they can find out more information about becoming an on-Iowa leader or an orientation leader. We're always looking for students who are welcoming, thoughtful, and committed to being a Hawkeye. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions for us, you can give us a call at 319-335-1497 or email us at orientation@uiowa.edu. I also want to note that our website, newstudents.uiowa.edu, has some really great information, as well as all the listing of all of our webinars that we've done this summer, which will all be there for you to go back and watch if you need them. Again, thanks for watching this one. We're really excited to welcome your students to Iowa this August. And on Iowa, go Hawks.